Hello and welcome back, Styles. Today we're going to cover how do you complete a Hitless Sanctum run. Basically, all my tips and tricks, all the things I've learned from practicing it and trying to do carries, I'm going to give to you guys, and that way, if you say make this character, you will know exactly where to throw your mines, how to kill guards, what rooms are easy, what afflictions are bad versus not bad versus free, all that sort of stuff. I'm going to try to explain it all and have basically detailed information for you to do it. I'm also going to go out of my way to try to do pretty much every possible room type I can while going through the Sanctum, and then if I have enough time, I'll try to cut and have basically linked down at the time bar, it'll say, hey, I'm doing this type of room, so that way you can say, okay, I want to know how to do holy trials, for example, or trails. You'll see that there will be a timestamp for it if I get every possible room type. I'm going to try to do as many as I can. That way there will be timestamps and you can say, okay, let's go look at that room. What does he do? What does that room layout look like? All the rooms are very consistent. They always have pretty much the same patterns. And then this could give you an idea of what to expect when you go into it, when you're about to go in to do X room or whatever that is. Anyways, so to start things off with, I thought we would take a look at this little cheat sheet here. Now, ignore the stuff at the bottom. It's not really relevant for what we're talking about. I'm only pulling up this cheat sheet here, and I'm gonna have a link to it in basically the description of the video. It's a Reddit post that somebody put together basically telling you what the different room types are, and this is important because certain room types are way easier than others. For example, in my opinion, for hitless runs, exit traps, these are the hardest rooms in my opinion. Generally speaking, exit traps, there's the most room for error, and there's the most room for basically misplays, or if you get faster traps, these rooms become significantly harder. And if you're going to brick a run, these are the rooms I would expect to brick a run on versus other rooms like kill the guards. These are the freest rooms in my opinion. So just going through it step by step, there are a couple exceptions. For example, kill the guards, there's no exceptions. These are always basically free. The guards always spawn in the same locations. You can always pre-fire them. I've never died and killed the guards. Similarly, battle arena, these are also pretty free. These are the ones with the fire laser traps, but all you have to do, and I'll show this when I'm playing through the hitless run I'm going to showcase, you just have to run in a circle. You stutter step, throw mines, run in a circle. That's all there is to it. Basically, whenever the skull it starts its charge up to shoot a laser, all you do is you flame dash and you keep running around in a circle. That's all there is to it, and I'll try to showcase this. These are also pretty easy rooms in my opinion. Similarly, find the exit rooms are also generally on the easier side. Out of all these rooms, Decrepit Cellar is the only somewhat sketchy one because you do have to pre-fire some pretty specific spots, and I will go over that because there's some weird spots guards could be, and they can shoot you from off screen. So if you're pre-firing the right location, you'll be fine, but find the exit is also pretty easy. And then last but not least, mini bosses. These are all easy except for floor 1 scriptoriums. Floor 1 scriptorium I think is very hard to dodge. What happens is if you kill him, he instantly does a screen-wide red circle AoE that just covers the screen. I've done it like once successfully, but I've bricked 2 runs on this boss specifically because I panic, I see the red circles go off everywhere, and it goes off very quickly. Basically, I think the best play is, from what I've gathered, either just trying to stand directly underneath the boss because it doesn't seem like the red circle pattern he spawns always spawns under the boss, or just have a corner picked out ahead of time that you know you're going to go to and just bolt to that corner and pray the red circle pattern doesn't go there. The other option is the pattern, from what I can tell, is sometimes it goes in a circle, sometimes it's random. If it seems like it's going in a circle, maybe you could dash, basically wait for the first red circle to go off and then it goes off in a sequence, and then you can go to where it just went off and then follow it back around, sort of thing. Point is, this is a room I would hard avoid. I think it's very sketchy. There's a high likelihood you will brick this room in my opinion. Other than that, the other mini bosses are super free, super free, and super easy. Okay, so hopefully I've explained the rooms for you. Now let's go over to one more thing I made and I put together for you guys, which is just a little paint diagram for all the afflictions. Afflictions are important to know what they do and know what your risks are. And I broke this down into 4 categories: free, easy, mid difficulty, and hard difficulty. For free category, these are things you can pick up and it makes no difference to your character. In a hitless run, you're not going to get hit, so monsters dealing more damage doesn't matter. They're not going to hit you. If they hit you, you're already dead. Same things with things that have to do with recovering resolve weakness. You can't recover less resolve, lose coins on getting hit, stuff like that. That is not going to make any difference when you're doing a hitless run. Those are free. Monsters have knockback. If they hit you, you're already dead. don't let them hit you. It's pretty simple stuff, okay? Spiked Exit is an example of it looks dangerous, lose 5% on current room completion, but this never kills you. If you're at 1 resolve, you can pick this up and it will never do any damage to you. You can test this in your own runs. Basically what'll happen if you get all the way down to 20 resolve, it will stop basically taking a resolve off, because like 5% of 19 is less than 1 and it rounds down. So that's some of the free ones. Easy ones are things like stuff that makes it harder to get coins, gargoyles, poison water. You just don't have to click on fountains. I even put lose resolve on flask use in this category. Now, lose flask resolve is honestly, it's a very bad affliction in terms of if you're not paying attention to it, it will instantly kill you. So you have to be careful of this. That being said, we can play this through with no flasks. Flasks are not mandatory for us to do hitless run. Flasks don't really matter all that much, in my opinion. We can take off all our flasks, our build still operates, and we will still instantly phase basically everything. So this is a matter of, if you see this affliction and you have another bad choice, just take off your flasks and take the resolve flask damage, because that way, if you don't have any flasks on, you won't take any damage from it. This is just a matter of, can you remember to take off your flasks? Or a matter of, even when you're farming up the rooms, don't have your flasks on. Don't risk it, because it will instantly kill you if you're not paying attention. That being said, I should also note here, if you get purple smoke, this would also be somewhere where I'd advise you, take off your flasks. Because if you ever get a random affliction going into a room, you don't know what it is, and you forget about it, it could be a lose resolve on flask use. If you have auto trigger flask, it will instantly kill you. So purple smoke, you also should take off your flasks if you pick up purple smoke. That being said, moving on to mid-range difficulty, these are things like rusted coin, which makes it so your merchant only has one option. These get easier as the run gets further in. For example, if you already get ornate dagger and sanguine vial and the ichor one that reduces action speed, these are the 3 boons I recommend you look for. Everything else doesn't really matter. If you already have good boons, you've already acquired them from a accursed pact or a merchant earlier on, this actually starts to become free. Same with things like increased merchant prices, or what's the word? Not increased merchant prices, fewer merchant choices. Stuff like this where it's limiting your merchant. If you already have good merchant options, you have to gauge your run based on how your run's going. So if you've already acquired the things you want from the merchant, it no longer matters if you start bricking your merchant or you start bricking your Aureus coins. And that being said, part of the reason I have a lot of these Aureus coins in the easy category is we only care about buying 3 boons. There's a good likelihood we're going to get the boons from accursed packs, or over time, we only need to buy 3 boons throughout the entire run if we do merchants, which means you don't end up needing a lot of coins. Generally, just the coins from the boss kills and the few monsters you kill throughout the run will be enough to buy those 3 boons. They're usually not crazy expensive. They're like usually in the range of like 200 coins to 300 coins for each of these boons. They're not considered high tier expensive boons. They're just minor boons. That's how the game considers them. And therefore, overall, through the course of our run, we only need to get around 600, 800, 700, 900 coins. Something like that will allow us to buy these boons we care about, and so hopefully that makes some sense. And then after that, the other stuff in the mid difficulty, I have black smoke, red smoke, and golden smoke. These generally are stuff we don't really want, because a lot of times you want to be able to choose your room type. That being said, if you can't choose your room type, this build can do every room type. It's not going to brick your run. It's just a matter of the run gets a little bit more nerve-wracking, and you're a little bit more cautious. You have to play it a little bit more careful, because you might have to do multiple trap rooms in a row. It's doable, but it's not going to brick your run. And black smoke is a matter of, you want to start choosing the options that will take you to the most rooms, and usually that will still lead you to a relatively safe path, but it's still pretty limiting. Golden smoke, a lot of times this makes it harder to find merchants and harder to find accursed packs. It's definitely a boon you want to try to avoid if you can, but ultimately, if you're choosing between golden smoke and one of the boons one of the afflictions I have ranked as a hard affliction, you're going to want to go with golden smoke. Now, I'll walk you through the hard afflictions. Why do I have them ranked from 1 to 5? This is how I consider them in difficulty. Accursed Prism, in my opinion, if you pick this up early on, it's the difference in getting 5 afflictions throughout a run to getting 10. And getting 5 extra random afflictions is going to be bad. There's a high likelihood it's going to give you multiple of the other brick afflictions, in my opinion, and you kind of want to avoid this at all costs. In my opinion, it's going to end up giving you a lot of bad stuff, and that will stack up. Luckily, it's pretty rare. You're not going to run into it too much, but this is the number 1 thing I would avoid. Number 2 is Fiendish Wings. This basically makes it so you cannot chill, you cannot freeze enemies, and on top of that, they're faster. All of a sudden, this means arena rooms are going to be dangerous because they're going to get attacks off. This I would approach with caution. Granted, for the most part, we insta one-shot things. I still would be cautious to risk this because the second the monsters get a little bit tankier and stuff like that, and maybe you misplay a little bit, they're going to start getting attacks off. You're going to start getting hit for your no-hit run. I would consider this a pretty big risk. Also on top of that, it makes the skull fire trap thing in the arena rooms, it makes it faster and it's going to be harder to dodge. Okay, next up we have things like rapid quicksand. Traps are faster. This makes the trap room significantly harder. For me, it would be an auto avoid, because if you get that in arena room with that trap laser going faster, it is very, very hard to not get hit by that laser, especially in the later rooms where you're just out naked and afraid and you have to dodge around it. You can play around it. It's doable, but it's going to be hard. Concealed anomaly, technically, if you're playing well, this isn't going to kill you. But the second you start sleeping, the second you look away, there's going to be some anomaly from some guard you killed at some point, come from off screen and PK you. You cannot sleep for a moment. It's just going to increase the run stress to an all-time high. I would avoid this one. And then the last I have in the hard category is purple smoke. Purple smoke, basically, later in the run, it's less and less risky because there's less and less afflictions you're going to run into. But if you get purple smoke early on, there is a good chance you're going to run into concealed anomaly, rapid quicksand, fiendish wings. Purple smoke, I just would be worried about because it's going to give you one of the things that feels more like a brick, and it's going to make the run really, really hard. Okay, there might be like a few afflictions I missed. This isn't a complete list. Like right now, I'm thinking more monster life. I would throw that into the mid difficulty, similar to the deal less damage one. Stuff like that isn't listed here. There's a couple I've missed, but hopefully this gives you a good idea, or good frame of reference to look at and think, okay, this is how I can judge which afflictions are bad and which ones aren't. All right, so I know that was a lot of information, but it was necessary for me to go over to explain when I'm doing this run, why am I making the choices I'm making. First of all, my priorities are avoiding bad afflictions. Bad afflictions are number one to avoid. After that, we want to target getting accursed packs and target getting merchants. We want to get the dagger, we want to get the sanguine vial, and we want to get the reduced action speed. Basically, those boons early on are fantastic. Also, accursed packs give us a chance to get Imperial Seal, which disables traps, making the run significantly easier, or All-Seeing Eye, which also makes the run significantly easier. It counters all the smokes, and it lets you plan out your route from the first room of the, basically, the first room of the each floor. And on top of that, I should say, Scrying Crystal is also pretty good. I didn't mention that before. It's not quite as good, in my opinion, as the other three boons I mentioned, but if you find it, it's worth picking up. That's my priorities. So, avoid afflictions first, then go for good boons, and after that, if all else fails and you're trying to choose between two different rooms, choose the room that's going to be less likely for you to break. You're going to have to maybe do a practice run and start to get a feel for, hey, I'm comfortable in this room, whereas this room's a little bit more sketchy, stuff like that. And also, choose rooms based on the rooms that are going to give you the most potential options. If you, for example, were to go to... This is a good example. If I go this route to Fountain, this forces me into this room. Okay, that's a risk. Say I have black smoke and I can only see to here and I don't know what's in this room. This could have a run-ending affliction. This could have fiendish wings on it, one of the worst afflictions possible. So I want to avoid rooms that are going to force me into one option. Because when you're forced into one option, the likelihood that if it's an affliction room, the likelihood it's going to brick you is much, much higher than you would want. So ideally, you want to keep your options open. So one of either this room or this room would make sense, because it's going to mean we have three potential options on getting there. Now, ultimately, once I go to this room, I'll see more of the options here, and that will give me a better idea of, say, if I go here, maybe this is actually ultra free, and then I want the fountain for some reason. You don't normally want fountains on these runs unless you get the major boon that gives you a boon for clicking on a fountain, but you get the idea. Point is, plan your routes around what gives you the most options. Keep that in mind. Now, I wasted a lot of time talking about a lot of things. We haven't even started the Sanctum. Let's get into the Sanctum. Let's start it off, and I'll try to talk you through what I'm doing when I'm doing this. So Sanctum Archives, this is a find the exit room. This is a kill the guard exit room. These are pretty easy. This is one of the possible layouts. There's another layout that we'll probably see later on, but this one, you just go up here. There's a guard right here. Throwing mines will kill that guard. Next up, there's two guards here. Throwing the mines here will kill these two guards. So you'll see coins and coins, and then you'll see if we go over here, this is where that guard was over here. So we shot him around the corner like this, and then next up, Okay, careful of these ghost dogs. There are ghost dogs in this first floor. Next up, we have to shoot around this basically wall here, because there's guards around that corner. And you see, you'll see oftentimes, if there are guards somewhere in an area, there will be more light in that area. There will be like a light radius around the guards. And also you'll get a audible / visual cue on saying room complete, which will tell you when you've killed the guards around the corner. So pay attention to those things. You'll get used to it, but it's a matter of, we want them to be dead before they know we exist. That's the safest play for, we're going through a Sanctum run and we're not getting hit. All right. Next up, we're going to look at our affliction options. So this is a scenario where you're making a choice and you want to avoid the bad afflictions. Oh, Deceptive Mirror. This is not on the affliction list I have. This would go in the hard category. I would put this above difficult. This would be harder than Purple Smoke in my opinion. This is the one you want to hard avoid. This wasn't on the list of the things and I forgot about it, but now you know. That's one you definitely want to avoid. Resolve Weakness is free. Hemorrhage is pretty free. Weakened Flesh. Oh, this is also not on there. Maximum minus maximum resolve. This will not kill you. This is a free one. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to Abandoned Library, and then we're probably going to end up going into either the merchant prices or the Resolve Weakness. I would rather not pick up mini, or basically something that bricks our damage. We can run this if we brick our damage. This character's set up to run 2-man HP level content, but ultimately, if you have worse gear, it's not going to be quite as overpowered for it, and you're going to want to avoid that. No sense in basically dealing less damage. Now, this is the find the exit room. This room is basically, and this is a general pattern you're going to do, which is basically you always are throwing ahead of your screen to where the enemies are. This room has a guard, I think, like right over there to the right. Yeah, the guard there, and there's a guard up here to the left. So you clear those two guards out, and then up ahead here, you have one of these ice traps. Now, how these ice traps work is the second you walk into them, they have basically a trigger animation, and they pop, they blow up. Personally, the best way I think to get around these is to just flame dash over them. When I was doing carries, I would run in them, and then I would dash back. You see the delay, they pop. If you get faster traps, they're going to pop faster. I think the safest way to go about it is to just dash over that. And I'm going to show that when I go kill this next guard here. So then we go this way. There's a guard on the up here. We kill them. And there's one right here on this corner. So right here, there's going to be a guard right in that room. He's dead at this point. I'm going to go and I'm going to flash over. I'm going to dash over. So you can just dash over like that and you're fine. And that's how you deal with those ice traps. I think that the safest play is always just dashing over, except for when we get to floor 4. If we do an entombment, we're going down the magma ball room. That will be different, and it'll be a matter of you put the totems down to block the balls, and I would trigger the ball and go back and stay in the lane you're in with the magma ball lane you're in, and then work it slow. Take those rooms slow. Also, a thing I should note is as I'm talking through this, you want to be getting through these rooms before 20 seconds. You're on a 20-second timer, generally speaking. When I take these off, we have 20 seconds before our charges run out. That's 20 seconds before our character stops dealing damage. Well, our character will still deal damage, but it's going to be a lot less damage. We're going to lose our projectile speed from our charged mind support, and it's not going to be good. So ideally, if you do run out of charges, you want to make sure you're in a super safe area before you do another boot swap, before you continue going down your run. Or if you're doing one of the trap rooms where it's going to take a while for you to get through, ultimately you might have to just run with Ralakesh for a bit and listen to the annoying sound it makes, because having charges versus no charges is not ideal. All right. Anyways, now priorities here. Deceptive Mirror we really don't want. Merchant prices we really don't want. Mark of Terror is the free option. We're going to go with Mark of Terror. Now that being said, I should start choosing rooms based on difficulty and stuff. This is another Find the Exit. There's a different layout. Actually, there might be 3 or 4 Find the Exit layouts for floor 1. Anyways, point is this one's a little bit different. All we have to do is throw these. Basically, the first guard's there. There's 2 guards in this next room. You pre-fire this next room. The 2 guards should be dead. There's going to be 1 on the left, 1 on the right. And then the final room here, there's another 2 guards. So you just pre-fire there, and there will be 2 dead guards here and there. Okay? Now, I just remembered something that I forgot to go over, which is actually pretty important for doing these runs, which is widescreen mode. I think this is a good idea. And what you simply do, you're going to put the game into windowed mode, and then you're going to take your game and you're going to start making it short and fat. What this does is it increases how far away you can actually see. it actually extends your vision. If you're playing on a ultra wide or a wide monitor already, then you already have this at baseline. But for me, who doesn't have that, basically what you have to do is just make your computer screen short and fat. So the shorter and fatter you go, the more you'll be able to see. Eventually, you'll start to see some level of black bars on your screen, and that means you've gone too short and too fat, and you've reached the limit, basically. But the more short and fat you go with it, the more range you're going to have in terms of what you can see. Now, you can see there's a black bar over here now, so we went a little bit too short and fat. We're going to make it a little bit taller once again, and get it right back down. Okay, that's perfect. So, as you can see now, previously when we were in the zoomed in form or the regular form, we could only see to about here or something. It gives you like another quarter to half a screen vision, which is really, really big in seeing whether or not guards have died or whether or not you've killed them. So we're going to continue the rest of the run with this amount of vision in mind. Now, we do not want to pick this route. Ideally, well, okay, so this route gives us the options for both these rooms, which will mean we could go anywhere here. I'm actually going to go with this room because the less afflictions we pick up, the more bloated the affliction pool is. So that way later on in the run, when the game is... I'm being stupid. I picked a Scriptorium boss. So we're going to learn why I hate Scriptorium boss. I was completely, mind was blank on this. Scriptorium boss, basically what happens is we kill all of his dudes really quickly, and then he's going to insta implode the screen, and we have to dodge it. I think my key play is going to be, I'm going to run to a random corner. That's what I'm going. I'm going to go for a corner play. We'll see if it pays off. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for a corner play. All right, boot swap in, no mistakes. Let's see if we can do this. All right. All right, so we got lucky there. Previously, when I've done this boss, he has instantly covered the screen in red circles and one-shot me. So I guess maybe if you only go a step in, you preload the mines, you preload your curse, and you dash in and you insta-activate him. I guess you don't preload the curse because you don't curse him. You want to kill the things around there. I guess we maybe killed it fast enough that he didn't activate all the guys at once. But quite frankly, this boss is scuffed. He will often cover the entire screen in red circles, and if you aren't paying attention, you will die to it. So I guess I got lucky there. I wasn't paying attention to the rooms. I forgot about the rule of still we should be checking what rooms we're doing. So I guess now I got you a showcase of what Scriptorium looks like. So anyways, we have abandoned library. Now, basically what's happening here is I'm choosing between, do I want to pick up a basic infliction or do I want to pick up a merchant early on? And I want to pick up a merchant early on. I should say, for relics, things we want to prioritize is boss take increased damage and additional merchant options. Those are S tier, S tier. After that, things like basically coins or additional room vision, stuff like that is decent, but prioritize boss take damage and prioritize merchant options. If monster take damage applies to boss, I'm not sure. That could also be an option you could go for. So anyways, right here, we're going to take the resolve thing because it's not really that bad of a downside, and it gives us access to our merchant, which our merchant is going to have some additional options, which means there's a good chance we're going to get a ornate dagger, or we're going to get a sanguine vial or scrying crystal, and that's going to help out our run down the line. All right, so boot swap on for charges and then start pre-firing. This is another find the exit room, and this is the one with the ice traps. And you'll see the guard was there, and then there's going to be another guard up ahead. Now keep in mind, these ice traps are on the sides here. You just have to make sure you're not walking towards them, and you're going to be fine. There should be another guard over here. I see it go dark. That means the guard died. There's another ice trap here. I dash over it. You see there's a guard in that room. Normally we wouldn't even see that guy, but the widescreen tech made it so we could see that guy. And there's another guard over here. I'm pretty sure he's dead. I've thrown a lot of mines there. He should be dead. That's how we get through that room. Slow, easy, steady. If you're doing a hitless relic, take your time. I have to say this a lot to myself, which is slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Now for this, I'm dealing with Spike Shell or Black Smoke. I would put these on a similar tier of difficulty, but the upside here is we have a merchant. Merchant is going to give us hopefully some good upgrades, which will counteract the damage of Monster Life. I'd rather not take a Black Smoke, especially this early on when we're trying to seek out and get good upgrades for our character through Accursed Packs or through the Merchant. Now, Templar Anoles. This room technically is the easiest of the Templar Annul rooms. All we have to do is go behind one of the walls, and we just kind of just do this. We can just stand still, and we can still hit everything on the screen, right? Our icicle mines will chain around and they will kill the other things. And once you see this fire skull disappear, that means we're done with the room. We finished the room. The room has been successful, and that's how you do it on floor 1. Now, granted, floor 1, honestly, in my opinion, is more awkward than the other floors. I actually like the floors where you're just up close to the skull and you're just stutter stepping in a circle around it. That's usually what I prefer to do, because it's guaranteed you're always dodging it. You're not standing in the same place. And sometimes I've had it happen on these rooms where, for whatever reason, the first dude doesn't spawn in until you like dash into the middle or something, and it gets a little bit awkward. Say you start to run out of charges, you don't know what's happening. That can happen occasionally. It's not too often it happens. Now, Divinia, do we get good boons? So we get Scrying Crystal. This is a really good boon in my opinion. This is one that's worth buying. The 4 are Scrying Crystal, probably the lowest priority, but still very good. Then Sanguine Vial, then Ornate Dagger, and last but not least is the reduced action speed. Ornate Dagger is probably the best, then Sanguine Vial, then the reduced action speed, then Scrying Crystal. Harefoot, it might look good, but I would never take this on a hitless run because it's going to make you make a mistake. You're moving at a speed you are not used to with your character. You're going to run into a trap. It's going to brick your run. In my opinion, it's going to brick your run. The only case where I would grab this is, say I have worn sandals on my character and I'm trying to counter worn sandals. 20% action, 20% movement speed, probably not going to end up breaking your run. It's more controllable, stuff like that. But that is something I would be a little bit cautious of. I would be cautious of. So anyways, we're going to pick up Scrying Crystal here. It's going to give us more vision. We're going to take advantage of that in the future rooms. All right. And then we'll go ahead and do another Holy Trials. This will give us another room type. This is one of my least favorite rooms on floor 1 besides the Scriptorium. And I'll tell you why. Okay, there is an awkward location with these basically lightning traps. Now, first off, there is a guy that's going to spawn right there. We kill him first. But then, right here, I need to pre-fire this. I don't know if I've pre-fired it correctly. I guess I've pre-fired it correctly. I've gotten better at this, but this is an awkward location. Going through this, threading that needle there, there is a guard that stands there, and if you don't thread that needle correctly, he can pre-fire you. And it's awkward because there's the traps right there, but we did fine, and we didn't break the run there. So all is good. Fountain, basically we never click these unless we get the major boon for additional benefits when we click a fountain. Man, this is gonna be a long video. Hopefully you guys appreciate the detail I'm going into. I think it's important if you want to do a hitless run that I go into this detail. That's why I'm doing it. So anyways, 4 bosses. Whenever you get to a boss, you take out your power charge on crit gem. This is basically a better damage link than faster prod. You don't need faster prod for bosses. All the boss rooms are small. You just get this for more damage, and then you do your boot swap. And for the candle guy, you stand just behind this ledge here, toss all of your mines forward, place your curse, walk forward, he starts attacking, you activate your mines, he dies. That's how it works. Run in a circle. That's easy peasy. You'll never die to this guy. He's pretty slow, and you kill him really fast. So that's all there is to it. If for whatever reason your first set of 20 mines didn't kill him, or say you misplayed it a little bit and you triggered the mines before he even spawned, don't fret. He's a slow attacking boss. Keep calm. Dash around a little bit, put some more mines down, and just delete him, because he really doesn't have that much HP. He's really not ultimately that big of a threat. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and save up some more rooms, and then we're gonna get into floor number 2. All right, I've saved up enough for floor 2. Let's get into it. I have looked at these, and I have decided tattered blinds, more damage. These are all pretty free, but I'm looking at this right here, which is merchant. We have enough coins to buy another good boon. This could be an ornate dagger. It could be a sanguine vial. Very, very valuable. And I'm thinking, okay, of the things we have here, fiendish wings would be a brick. We don't want to end up there. But ultimately, if we do go down this route towards merchant, we're going to be able to see at least 3 options here. And if we go here, we'll have 2 of those options available if we go to merchant. It's going to force us into these 2 options. Basically, what happens if these 2 options are just super brick afflictions, we will abort and we'll go up here, and hopefully this isn't a brick affliction. But ultimately, we want to try to get another merchant, so that's what we're going to go for. We start out with Derelict Caverns. This is just a normal kill, like the 5 guards in the Sanctum. Pretty easy to pre-fire these. All you do is put on your boots, put on Righteous Fire, pre-fire around this first corner. That's where the first guard is. And then you just stutter step all your way through. There's going to be another guard up here on this platform that's probably already dead by this point. And then just keep stutter stepping your way through. Basically, whenever you can, throw the icicle mines as far as you can off of your screen, pretty much to target other guards that will spawn farther down. And then just make sure you don't get gibbed by one of the random little dudes that pop up from the side. They take a little bit of time to animate and then actually attack. So if you're chucking mines the entire time, they're going to just die and you're going to be fine, but something to keep an eye out for. All right, next up, we are going to look at our rooms. Do we get sent into a brick scenario? Now, luckily for us, if we were to force ourselves into this room, we have either gargoyle or door tax to choose from, both of which are downsides we can work with. And on top of that, if we go for door tax, we get another merchant. So say this merchant doesn't give us a good loot option, we could go for door tax. If this merchant does give us a good loot option, I'd rather take on gargoyle. That being said, we also want to keep in mind whatever these doors are ahead of us. So we're gonna go through decrepit cellar and battleground. Now, decrepit cellar, there's some important pre-fires you want to do. Whenever you do this, you will either spawn with the platform over here, or it will be a reverse of this and the platform will be the other direction. Look for where the ice trap is. That's where you're going to be going. Now, for this pre-fire, first do the boot swap as always, then pre-fire this platform. So you pre-fire a bunch down here. That is going to kill the guard that spawns up here. This guard can pre-fire if you dash down first, that guard's not going to die. And then simply put you pre-fire this way because there's another guard that spawns up here. And that's the two guards you need to worry about. And then you can just go straight to the door. So it's pretty simple. Look for the ice trap, pre-fire the mines as far as you can onto that platform. That will kill the close guard. Dash down to the platform and then pre-fire the mines past the ice trap, and that will kill the next guard. That's the two guards you need to worry about. And then just stutter step with ice trap, or not ice trap, icicle mines your way there. So Diviania, do you have us ornate dagger or sanguine vial? She has sanguine vial. In my opinion, this is basically the second best boon for us, but she also has ichor as well. These are two big, they're very, very big upgrades. I'm gonna go ahead and get this, and I'm going to get this. Technically, if you had extra coins to spare, I would recommend picking up Diviania's gift. The reason you want to do this is it protects you against floor tax. See, right now we have 3 of the boons we want. We are only missing ornate dagger. And if we were to pick up Diviania's gift, this will protect us from floor tax. We're basically investing into our next Diviania. So if you ever have the extra money, it's always worth to buy this because it protects you from floor tax, it protects you from door tax, it protects you from all your coins are gone. Now you at least get one more purchase out of the merchant. All right, now, since we have most of the good loot we want, I'd rather not have random gargoyles popping up. I'd rather not have the extra risk. Ultimately, there's only one thing left we need, which is ornate dagger, and even without that, this is still going to be a clean run. So I'm actually going to opt to go for the merchant to keep my options more open, as well as the door tax doesn't really hurt me as much now because I have basically the loot I want. Now, let me walk you through how to do a battleground. Battleground's pretty simple. Always start off with the boot swap. Always start off rolling in. Flame dash initially when he starts charging up, and then just go in a circle. Stutter step, go in a circle. The second he charges up his attack, do another dash, okay? That way, you're farther away from when the Flame Skull is going to do his laser beam. It's basically pretty simple. You see the Flame Skull start charge up attack, flame dash to get yourself a little bit distance, because when he starts to charge attack, that means he's pointed this way, right? He was pointed this way. The second we flame dash farther on, he's going to have to rotate farther around to get to us. That gives us a little bit of breathe room to keep stutter stepping slowly, and the Flame Skull's not going to catch up to us. If you have a faster trap, it starts to get a little bit more sketchy. Hence, I say avoid faster trap, avoid fiendish. All right, random reward, we'll go with alterations. I'd rather not bloat my pool for the future room, so I'd rather have that finish out as early as possible. Door tax into major treasure. Now, this looks really good because merchant is here again. Merchant is here. We're not going to have enough money to buy anything from her, but if we go for major treasure, there's a good chance we can afford an ornate dagger. So I'm going to go here and then maybe there depending on what is in these rooms. Now, I do want to try to do a gauntlet, so I might force in a gauntlet if there's not a gauntlet up here, just so I can show you guys where to pre-fire for gauntlet. That is a room, there are some important pre-fires, and it's going to teach you how to use the totem searing bond setup to basically protect yourself from the balls flying across. All right, once again, the icicle trap is here, so we're going to pre-fire down here to kill that first guard, then we dash down and we pre-fire up. That kills the second guard, and then we dash through. And then we stutter step our way in case there's guards that try to come this way to us. Usually it won't happen. You can probably just bolt to the door. Diviania, she has ornate dagger. Unfortunately, we're broke. We can't buy it. That's okay. We're going to get other options, other chances to see that. We're going to get other chances to buy it. Now, that being said, Unfortunately, there is no option for a gauntlet if I go for this merchant here. So I'm going to force in the gauntlet here. Gauntlet is the worst room for floor 2. If you can avoid it, I would avoid it. I'm only going to do it because I'm going to show you, hey, you can do it, but it's still the most risky in my opinion on floor 2. So let's go ahead and do gauntlet, and then I'll do probably cellar into cellar or caverns just to get an accursed pact. Accursed pact is also very high value. It's honestly a bummer we haven't seen it till this late in floor 2. Normally you're picking up a couple accursed pacts before this point. Lance is in a really good mood, so hopefully it's okay with him making noise in the background. Anyways, let's go ahead and do a gauntlet. I have lost a run here. I waited too long and I stood on this spot. If this guard sees you, there's one that spawns right here and it's an archer, he can actually shoot over this wall and hit you. It's important. You want to rush up to here, throw the icicle mine here to shoot them, Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, I misclicked. Okay, he's already dead. Okay, anyways. Oh, that was I was trying to explain and then I accidentally clicked, which ruined my grace period. But point is, when you're standing here, you do the swap and then you rush here quickly and you want to shoot him as quickly as possible, because this guy, if you're unlucky, he can actually shoot over the wall and hit you. I've had it happen. It felt really, really bad. I didn't know it could happen because I was taking it slow. Now I know, and now I'm telling you so it doesn't happen to you. Now, next up, the traps. We deal with these with a simple setup, which is Phantasmal Searing Bond plus multi-totem. The alt quality for Searing Bond gives you additional totems, plus the multiple totem gives you another additional totems. This just means we can have up to 6 totems. You'll see we place them all down. These totems we use to block the balls and stop the balls from spawning. All right, I'm going to put these back on so I have them, but you're going to see it's a pretty simple process. First, you place it on here, basically right on top, and it spawns in, it gets blocked. You have a free lane here. Then you place there, it's going to block that ball. And you just take it lane by lane. You block each lane, so that way when you're going through, it's a clear lane to go down, okay? And then you have the pre-fire here, because there's a guard that spawns right there, right? That's a guard, and then there's going to be another guard right about here, okay? So those are the 2 guards you have to worry about, and that's how you basically make ball traps easy. You block their spawns with the totems, and you go through. Take it slow, take your time, but make sure you're pre-firing that next guard. This is still, in my opinion, the hardest room on this floor, because there's there's more room for error than there are on other floors, in my opinion. So I'd rather not take up a free affliction, so we're going to go for the Decrepit Cellar into the Accursed Pact. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to finish off this floor. All right, once again, Decrepit Cellar, icicle trap thing is here. We go over here, we pre-fire this corner, make sure that guy's good, and then pre-fire up, okay? Once you've thrown a sufficient amount of things, they should be dead guards. And as you can see, there is a guard that will spawn over here, hence why I recommend doing a stutter step through this part. You'll freeze him, but that's something you want to be aware of. Still, this is a floor you shouldn't ever lose on if you're doing those pre-fires correctly. But that's why it's important I tell you those basically places to throw your mines. All right, this is a caverns, which means we just have to kill 5 guards, and it's just a line thing. And you're basically just stutter stepping and you're throwing around the wall. As you can see, that guard was there. We threw over to here and it was able to kill the guard. Next up, there's going to be a guard on this platform. We just stutter step our way through and you'll be fine. If you're stutter stepping, your mines should kill the guards way before you see him. You see the guard right way over there on my screen? I'm throwing like this around a wall. He's never going to be able to shoot me, but he's going to die to me, right? He's going to die to me, okay? And then there's the last guard here. So whenever you get those runs, it's always just stutter step, throw mines around corners, the guards are going to die, and just pay attention to the random ads spawning behind you. Make sure those don't, you want to keep throwing those mines. Don't lose to those. Now, here's a good example of accursed pacts are really, really good. Whenever you get anything that says lose % maximum resolve, this is free. You get 2 minor boons, or you get a major boon. And there are some good major boons, and there are some good minor boons. Now, this is awesome. So 2 minor boons, just take it. Why not? There could be something decent. Less resolve, that's useless. Who cares? There's going to be a lot. Like, we've got the important ones in the bag, so ultimately we're probably not going to get too big of ones. Gold trophy means we'll stack a lot of coins throughout the run, and it'll be, if we ever need to buy anything, we'll be free, but we already have the very last thing we need, and it's trading it for merchant prices, which, since we already have what we need, this is 100% worth it. We pick it up. We have all the minor boons we care about, and you never click gain random minor affliction. It is never worth the risk. I don't care if you think maybe there's a divine behind the accursed pact. It isn't worth it. There's 100 divines sitting on that original sin. Focus on the prize. Don't get distracted by the in-between stuff, okay? Don't take minor boon or minor afflictions. It's too much of a risk. If you get a bad affliction, you could brick your run. All right, this boss is pretty simple. All we're gonna do is pre-fire mines here and then dash into the corner when they start walking and trigger them. So you don't want to go close to these. What's up, little guy? What you thinking, little buddy? You want to sit up here with me? You want some? You want a snack? Where's your diaper getting you? Let me check. Is it your diaper? No, it's your diaper. I can change you, little guy. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back now. We'll go ahead and collect these coins, and then we're gonna fast forward to floor 3. So I'll catch you guys then. We're not gonna get anything good out of this loot because nothing can drop, really. That's like, there's no divines, there's no exalts, stuff like that doesn't happen on floor 1 and 2. 3 and 4 is when you start getting that better loot and rewards. All right, so I'll see you on floor 3 when I've saved some rooms. See you then. Now that I got the room saved up for floor number 3, let's go ahead and do it. Now to start things off, we have Gargoyle, Rapid Quicksand, and Unquenched Thirst. Now Quicksand, very bad, we want to avoid that. Purple Smoke comes up right after it. We want to avoid that too. So ultimately, if we were going to start out with Unholy Lair, we'd be limited into going into these 3 rooms. Merchant's good, but at this point, we have all the merchant boons we care about. We have Sanguine Vial, we have Ornate Dagger, we have the Ichor, and we have Scrying Crystal. We have all the boons we would buy from the merchant already acquired. Now it's time to seek out major boons. Major boons could be Imperial Seal. It could be reveal the entire map, and we could plot out an easy path on floor 4. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the Gargoyle Totem. It's a pretty easy one, and then we're going to go into Halls of Worship. That being said, Halls of Worship also is, in my opinion, the easiest room to run on every single floor. Halls of Worship, it's this simple. You either start on an orientation where the door is here or the door is here, but it's simple. All you do with Halls of Worship is you pre-fire mines this way, throw some up the top of the shelf, get up there, flame dash, and then come over. And it's going to be the reverse from the other direction, and the door is right there. So if we're on the other side with the door, we would be going left in. If the door's over here, we're going right in. But it's down and then in, basically, is what it is, if that orientation makes sense to you. We'll pick up the coins just because why not get more coins? Doesn't really matter at this point. We're not going to be using them, except for like buying rewards. And another Halls of Worship for the Accursed Pack. Hopefully this gives us the other orientation so I can showcase that as well. No, it gave us the same orientation as before, so we're going to do the same thing. Pretty simple. Throw icicle mines this way, flame dash up, throw some this way. Guards I've seen come as close to like right here on us, so it's worth pre-firing there just in case the guard is randomly somewhere where it usually isn't. All right, now we have the chance to gain gold magnet for hemorrhage. I am going to opt not to do this because it starts to, the more afflictions we pick up, the more likely it is when we get to a room that's like, hey, it's going to force us into one option, the more likely it's going to be with the bad infliction or the affliction pool. So I am not going to pick this up, even though this is a free affliction, and even though gold magnet is decent. This is something where if you haven't got your good boons yet and you're struggling to get Aureus coins, then you maybe would pick it up in that case. But for most cases, I would say still not worth it. Lose 200 for 200. Our character right now has 150 resolve. I'm just going to show that this doesn't kill you. You click it, it just doesn't let you click it. So that's just what that is, in case you're wondering if that breaks the run. Also, I know this isn't a hitless run. I know I'm not running this with the original scripture, but hopefully I'm showcasing the, what's the word? I'm showcasing the value in, being able to run this without getting hit, even though I don't have a hitless scripture to do it. I haven't dropped one. That's a bit unfortunate. If I had a hitless scripture, I would run this guide with it on. I'm that confident in my ability to finish the run. That being said, I'm also that confident in the ability to finish the run, and I'm a filthy degenerate who likes to gamble, and this could give us divines. So I'm going to take this, but normally, for my recommendation would be not to take this, but, you know, whatever. This isn't an original sin run, and I want divine orbs. Okay, well, we got chaos. Value. But normally I wouldn't recommend taking that. All right, next up we have Unholy Lairs and Infernums. I would like to give you guys a showcase of Unholy Lair. Or no, not Unholy Lair. I'd like to give you guys a showcase of Infernum. Unfortunately, that will force us into 2 afflictions. It's pretty likely that we're gonna get a... here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna choose this room and keep our options open. Hopefully we get an Infernum later on in the line, because I don't want to do it here. I'd rather have an Infernum down here. Infernum's easy. You just go in a circle similar to all the other rooms with the arenas, but I want to make sure I'm thinking about that fully when I do it. Now, Unholy Lair, this is a room where you're basically just stutter stepping the whole room to pre-fire. There is 5 guards in total. Right now it's going to say, hey, go left or go right. We're going to go right. And there's going to be guards that are spawning right here. Okay, so you pre-fire here. Wait till the light disappears. The light disappears. That means it's safe to move forward. Start pre-firing up the stairs. There's going to be some guys at the top of the stairs, and there's going to be guys on the other side. So pre-fire over here, kill the guys over there, and then we kill the guys over here. I don't know if we've killed them yet. Okay, we finally hit the last guy there. It's just a matter of throwing things off screen and knowing where they spawn. There's always going to be like 2 guys at the guard entrance and then guys on the sides is what it's going to be. The other version of Unholy Lair is there's a few guys at the top of the stairs, a few guys at the bottom of the stairs, and then there's a hallway. But you're just pre-firing, you're throwing the mines far down the screen, just trying to take them out. That's all you got to do there. All right, Infernum, great. We have an Infernum there. We have Halls of Worship, Halls of Worship. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do Sanctum Bellum so I can showcase the boss. And then we'll do Halls of Worship into Infernum. So this way you get an idea of what the boss looks like. This is how bosses are going to work on every floor but floor 1. And it's pretty simple. You simply put on the extra damage link, you get your charges, and bosses have like no HP. Normally you can pre-fire them from where you're standing at the door. This boss is a little bit farther in, so you have to go a little bit like this. But you're just going to insta-wipe him. For this guy specifically, you can maybe stand right about here before he starts doing actions and pre-fire him. But ultimately, these bosses are so low HP, I would just stutter step into him. I would just stutter step into him if you're not sure when they're going to activate and aggro. Just stutter step into him, they'll still quickly die. Uh-oh. Sounds like we got something going on upstairs. I will be right back. All right, sorry about that. Let's continue the room, or floor 3. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go for up to go to Infernum, and then we will finish out with Infernum. We'll do double Infernum. This will give a good showcase of how Infernum's done. Trust me when I say it's easier than it looks. It really is. You're just running in a circle and you're stutter stepping, and you flame dash when the flame skull starts to target you. So Halls of Worship again, we just go straight down and then up. Pre-throw the mines here in case the guy for whatever reasons decides to spawn over here or runs over here for who knows why. And then we'll talk to Divinia, see if there's anything we want. There isn't. We already have all the boons we can want, so we keep going. She technically can sell a major boon, in which case there might be something good there. That is the little small percent chance, but I think it's more likely to get a good major boon from an Infernum than it is from Divinia. All right, so let's go ahead and do an Infernum. As always, we have the same setup. We start out with the boot swap, and then we just starter stepping to begin with. Flame dash, the second he starts targeting you is when you flame dash. So right here, he targets me, flame dash, get some distance, and that will mean when he starts, basically he tries to track towards us, he won't be aiming in the right location by the time he starts firing. So that's all you have to do, and this is going to be pretty similar to what we do on floor 4, as well as floor 2, we do the same thing, run in a circle. Floor 1, you can just stand behind a wall, but ultimately you could do the same thing on floor 1. You could just go in the middle and then do the circle pattern. Do the circle pattern, and arenas are not an issue ever. You just freeze lock the guards instantaneously on them spawning. They never get attacks off. If they had Fiendish, it would be a different story. I wouldn't necessarily do arena if they had Fiendish. I'd be worried they'd get an attack off. Now, we're going to go with Accursed Pact. Even though it's giving us Lose Resolve, this could give us major boons. It could give us Disable Traps, which is very, very good. All right. Do the same thing. Rage Fire on, flame dash whenever he starts targeting, and then run in a circle pattern. That's all there is to it. Nothing complicated. So, you see, same thing every time, and you'll know, okay, now we have gargoyles, so you gotta be a little bit cautious of that. Same thing if you had volatiles, you have to be a little bit paying attention because they spawn in later, and they can just come PK you. So, that's that. All right, I flipped him to back to front, so we'll see if he lasts a little bit longer. All right, trade maximum resolve. This is always free, and quite frankly, it's nice to see my resolve number get smaller and smaller and smaller. 56. Ideally, I'd want to get that to 1 just to be like, oh, look, it's a no-hit run, even though to get to 1, I need to pick up minus 100 maximum affliction. That's what I need to do if I want to get it to 1, which is probably not going to happen. All right, let's go ahead and queue up for the third boss. This boss, in my opinion, is the hardest of the bosses to do the pre-fire for, or at least for me, it feels the most awkward. Floor number 1's probably the easiest, and then quite frankly for me, at this point, Lycia is the second easiest, and then floor number 2. Probably shouldn't be the case. Floor number 2 should be the second easiest, and then probably Lycia. And Hall of Mirrors, let's go ahead and do it. So, this is a new technique I've been taught about, but basically, she will aggro and start her spawn the second you get to the second altar here. So what you're going to do is you're going to do your normal setup where we swap in our damage, which I already have in because I forgot to take it out earlier. And then we'll swap in our charges. We'll walk to the second altar. We'll spam down our mines, and we'll put our curse. Speaking of curse, I should note I've swapped to Sniper's Mark over Temporal Chains because I decided I'd rather have the damage and just kill the bosses faster than have them do a slower attack animation. So we'll have the boss spawn, and then instantly when the boss starts to do their first attack animation, all we have to do is dash backward, activate our mines, and then start chucking mines on her. That's all there's going to be to it. It should be a relatively easy process. We go up to here. She activates, place our things, and then we dash backward. Okay, I didn't time that 100% right, but you get the idea. She's either going to do the dash backward, or she's going to be doing her dash forward, which is a little bit slow, or she's going to do her two-handed scythe swipe thing. And if you dash backward, you won't get hit by either of those. Point is, second altar, pre-fire the mines, pre-fire the trap, and then the second the boss starts to do an animation, you just dash backward, activate your mines, and start throwing more. And that's my cue that Nolan is probably giving up on tummy time as well now, so I am going to get him real quick. All right, so we're going to pick up on floor number 4 when I've saved the rooms for it. See you then. Alrighty, now that we're on floor 4, let's go ahead and bring this thing home. Now we have Lost Catacombs, Undercroft, and Lost Catacombs. Those are all easy rooms. Let's see Afflictions, Worn Sandals, Black Smoke, Purple Smoke. Now, since we already have Scrying Crystal, Black Smoke doesn't quite feel as bad in my opinion. That's probably the one we're going to go with. Worn Sandals is generally easier than Black Smoke, but I just don't really want to run with the extra slow move speed. That being said, you know what? We're so late in the run. Purple Smoke, there's only going to be like 1 or 2 more random afflictions we have to pick up. I'm going to go Purple Smoke just so I can have 2 accursed packs, and also it's going to give us a bit more variety in that it will give us an entombment. And I think it's important I showcase an entombment because that is actually the hardest zone in the floor 4, and it's got 2 different layouts, and I'd like to showcase both of those layouts if I can. So we'll go ahead and do Purple Smoke into entombment, and that way I can give you guys an idea of what we're working with in terms of how we deal with entombment, the hardest room on floor number 4. First off, Lost Catacombs. This is one of the easier rooms to do. Simply we do a pre-fire on the 2 guards here. There's going to be one that spawns here and one that spawns over here. Or if it's a little bit different layout, there will be like a wall that looks like an L, and you pre-fire past that. Moral story, if you don't know the layout, just take your time, and do a couple pre-fires and you'll be a-okay. Just stutter step around if you're not sure where guards are. Generally speaking, if you see light and you see how that light went out, that means the guards that were here died. So if you see light around an area, that means there's going to be some guards there. And then of course there's 2 guards that are going to spawn here. Room complete means we kill the guards up here and we're good to go through. Don't want to wait around and let the gargoyles hit us. Can we trade for major boons? No, we cannot. We've gotten a little bit unlucky. Excuse me, we've gotten a little bit unlucky. Normally, if you've gotten 4 or 5 accursed packs, you're going to exceed, I'd say, around 2 to 3, trade 50% max resolve for major boons, and that would give us a chance to get all C9 and stuff like that, but we are not lucky. I will just trade remove for remove, so that way we get a chance at Divine Orbs. We got Chaos. I'm going to go for stack decks. I think 8 stack decks are a little bit more valuable, and I like opening them. They're fun to open. All right. Entombments up ahead into Desecrated Crypts. This will give us a look at what the arena rooms look like when we play those. And of course, now that we have Purple Smoke, you kind of just want to avoid random afflictions because they could be Fiendish Wings, they could be a brick. We really don't want to touch those. Normally, if I was tryharding this run, I would never have picked up Purple Smoke there, but I'm doing it because I like curse packs. I'm not gonna lie, I like curse packs. So we pre-fire. There's a guard that spawns here. There's one that spawns behind that wall. They're both dead. Now we pre-fire this area right over here. You can see that it's lit up. And once that light goes dark, that means those guards are dead. We can keep going. Now that was weird. Normally there's not a guard up that far, but that's why you take it stutter step and you take it slow. That was the guard that would normally be, I guess that would have been the guard that was normally here, but for whatever reason it was like back farther or something. I don't know. That smoke, the smoke magician, whatever she's called, she disappears for a time being and is untargetable, so sometimes she avoids dying when she should. It's a little bit annoying, but ultimately nothing we can do about that. Now the layout we got for here appears to be the one that has lightning traps, so I'll showcase how to do the lightning trap one, and then if we get another entombment, I'll try to do it again so we can showcase a magma ball run. Okay, so lightning trap, basically, this is just a matter of patience. This trap is not hard as long as you're patient. Just take it one at a time. No need to rush it. No need to get fancy. Whenever you're going across these things, don't risk it. Just flame dash. One at a time. Slow, smooth is fast. No reason to brick on this room ever. This is always a room you can do if you're just being patient. Let it go through its cycles. Wait completely and then flame dash over. Now, once you get to this spot, you always go to this floor here, to this path, and then you're going to go to this one. Now wait for this room or this pattern to go off. It goes off, we go here, and then we go here, and then we'll go here. Now there's going to be a guard here, so we're going to want to pre-throw right there, okay? Pre-throw right there, that'll kill the guard that's sitting right here. That was the last guard. Oh, there's a gargoyle. Kill the gargoyle. That's the last guard you're going to see in this. We skipped about 2 guards by going that special route, and then we just do, simply put, take it slow. No need to rush. No need to die on something stupid. If you have faster traps, it's going to be a little bit more sketchy, but just one at a time. It always does the 3 pops. Wait for it to do the 3 pops, and always flame dash across these things. We don't want to die to a laser. We don't want to die to these traps, right? You can do it faster if you're a pro, but ultimately, if the original sin's on the line, just take your time. Okay, take your time. Do it right. Trade max resolve for gold magnet. Sure, why not? I'd rather be able to look at. Now this is pretty good, okay? So this is a major, and this is something you're going to see a lot. A major affliction will give you a pretty good trade-off. Generally speaking, look at what the major affliction does and gauge yourself based on that. We have 2,000 coins in the bank. If we lose, if we gain this for monsters no longer drop coins, we are still going to finish this run with way more coins than we're ever going to need. And this gives us a chance to get rid of our purple smoke or our spiked shell. We have some decently bad ones on here. Maybe we'll get rid of gargoyle. Gargoyle is a little bit annoying. So we'll click here. We'll see what it gets rid of. We got rid of the 30% more monster life. So that was 100% worth it. All we had to do was trade a little bit of our coins that monsters would drop. A-okay, that's fantastic. And then we go over here, we'll grab currency. Technically, we could do this to gain gold magnet, but really, it just doesn't matter. We have so many coins, it's not gonna really affect the outcome of this run in any way, shape, or form. Now, can we get another entombment? I would like to showcase how to do another entombment. All right, we can do Desecrated Crypts and Undercroft. I want to show those rooms as well, and then maybe we'll get an entombment by the end of this run, so I can showcase maybe the magma ball, and maybe, just maybe, I can brick on a magma ball. That'd be kind of funny, right? Bricking on the magma ball. All right, so this is like all the other arena rooms. You simply are going to start here, flame dash initially when he aims at you, start stutter stepping the other direction, and then flame dash over. Okay, flame dash over, wait for him to start targeting you, and then flame dash away. Get distance from where he's targeting. The fire skull is what's going to kill you. The guards are not going to kill you. The guards are getting freeze locked. Pay attention to the fire skull. That's what's important. Also, I mean, if you're on fiendish wings, then the guards you need to worry about. Then you need to unlock God Gamer mode, because they're going to get attacks off probably, and there's a lot of risk there. All right, we have another entombment right here. So we're going to go ahead and go for the entombment, just so that way I can showcase doing an entombment. And we'll do a Undercroft and do another Desecrated Crypts to showcase those rooms as well. Undercroft, this is a pretty free room. There are 2 ice traps we will need to avoid, and there's a couple guards we need to pre-fire. So get our charges going like we do. Pre-fire, there's a guard up here. You'll see the light go out, and then dash over the ice trap. Don't take chances with that ice trap. There's a guard across the room way here. Pre-fire like this, pre-fire like this. There's an ice trap, dash over it. And then start pre-firing like this. Skull's targeting you, pre-fire over here. There's a guard that spawns right there, and you're in. Okay, so 2 ice traps, dash over them. Do not take chances with ice traps. It would be a very silly and feels bad thing to die to. Trust me, you do not want to lose to those. All right, then we'll do another desecrated, N2, an entombment, and hopefully it gives us a magma ball entombment so I can showcase how to run those as well. Of course, he starts targeting. We do the dash. We come over here, dash over, and then wait for him to target, then dash back this way, and you're good to go. All there is to it. Of course, since there are gargoyles, we want to be a little bit careful about continuing to fire after the fact because they take a little bit later to spawn in. And last but not least, we will do an entombment. Now, since we have purple smoke, this could be a lose resolve on flask use, okay? We could click that. We could have the lose resolve on flask use. Our flasks are auto trigger with trader. They will trigger. They will PK us. So going into this, if you have purple smoke, take off your flasks. I forgot about this earlier. Quite frankly, the second I picked up purple smoke, I should have taken off my flasks then because I wasn't really thinking about it. So we'll go in here. You can check the affliction we picked up. It's all the way at the bottom. It's rusted coin. It is not going to be a lose the flask. So that means we can go ahead and put these back on, but you want to be risk adverse about it. Okay. This looks like it is, in fact, a magma ball entombment. So hope you guys are ready to be a little bit stressed, okay? Because this is the more stressful entombment to do. More stressful because the ball phase is a little bit harder. So these balls have an AoE, so you want to be a little bit careful to block them appropriately. And then there's a guard here, and I forgot. I was out of whatever, but it's okay. We still made it past. Now, what we're going to do for this run, simply put, is we're using our totems and we're stutter stepping out. Okay, we're stutter stepping out. Now, keep in mind, on entombment, in these ball phases, there are ice traps. So if you look up here, there is an ice trap right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to use these totems to body block the balls, okay? And when we have them all up and we're happy about the balls they're blocking, we're going to get to a lane and we're going to go down that lane. We're going to work down that lane. Make sure your totems are blocking. They have a duration. They're going to be fine. Make sure they're blocking that specific ice trap. Now, trigger the ice trap, get it to blow up, and then we keep going down. So the only thing that's going to kill you there is that ice trap. That being said, there's also going to be guards at the end of this. So eventually you want to start basically popping icicle mines in the case of there being a guard at the end of this that will kill you, or little monsters that spawn. So all right, we're through here. Gonna throw some traps around, make sure the area is clear. Quite frankly, on that specific one, we should have ran up the left side. I didn't think about that, and since there's nothing clear, there's nothing here, I'm gonna quick swap to these to make sure we have our throw speed and prod speed, and then I'm gonna go and target around here to kill the guard that's down here. Yeah, we don't want to get pre-shot or pre-fired by a fire archer. That'd be really bad. That might have been a fire archer, I'm not sure. Looks kind of like a fire archer. Would have been bad to die to him. Now, there is going to be one more ice trap we have to trigger. It's this one right here. We trigger it, we get out of there, and now we're just going to crawl our way up this entombment, okay? We're going to crawl it all the way up, and this time, it's much safer. We don't have to trigger the second ice trap. We crawl to here, and then you flame dash to this location right here. Okay, now that we're here, do another boot swap, get our charges back, flame dash here, pre-fire mines here, pre-fire mines here, make sure everything's dead, and then we go to the door. So that is how you run entombments. Slow, careful, methodical, don't risk anything, don't need to dodge balls. We're going to cheese it with Searing Bond totems. And then Lycia. Now Lycia, there is a simple dodge pattern. I have used this every single time since I was told about it. I'm going to call it the Via Dante trademark special. He's the guy who taught it to me, and it's pretty simple. There's a wall, and then there's Lycia right here. What you're going to do, you're going to do the boss damage swap. We're going to get in power charge damage. We're going to swap on our charges. We're going to walk to the edge of this wall right here. We're going to throw down a bunch of mines. We're going to put our curse up. We should be able to full stack, and then we're just basically waiting. We're waiting. We're sitting here waiting for the Lycia to spawn. The second she moves an inch, she starts any level of animation, all you have to do is dash to the corner and then start chucking mines back at her. She should die from the initial mines here, but if she doesn't, better safe than sorry. Her animation will take a little bit of time. You have more time to deal damage. Get that damage in, because if she goes for a second attack, you're probably dead. But you should be able to kill her before she goes for the second attack, so I wouldn't worry about that. But that's how it works, okay? So let's go ahead and do it. Boot swap, turn on RF, put mines down, wait for the animation, forget to press dash, almost completely bricked the run. That was really bad on my part. That was really bad on my part. I'm not gonna lie, that was terrible on my part. That was the closest I came to killing myself on that right there. That was the closest I came to killing myself. Really what you want to do is just get your mind downs. Don't panic. We have mines can't be damaged. Wait for her to start the animation and then flame dash and then start triggering. I was just throwing, and I got stuck a little bit in animation, and I took way longer to dash than I should have. It never should be that close. It never should be that close. But you get the idea. Now, don't take any chances with these laser beam traps. Flame dash over every single one of them. We'll wait for this one to go again, and then we'll flame dash over. Next up, we body block with totems, just like we did on every other thing. And then we keep pre-firing. There's a little bit of gargoyle dudes. They're melee. They're not going to hit you if you're taking it slow. Let's let this laser trap go off, then we flame dash over it. Let this laser trap go off, then we flame dash over it, okay? We're taking this slow, cautious. There's no reason to lose on this room here. Body block both the spawns of the balls, and then go to this area here. Once you are here, do one last swap to make sure you have charges. Walk over to Lycia. Pre-fire all your mines. Put down your curse. Walk around. Let her spawn. Trigger your mines. She's dead. That's all there is to it. We're going to do a similar thing on the final boss to finish the run. No hits taken. Do keep in mind, there is an attack this boss will do where she throws out an attack and it's like a spectral throw. I have died to that before when on a carry, but luckily there was another person in the room who could pick up the original Sid. So watch out for that one attack because she might get that off before she dies. Anyways, we go in here, do the boot swap, throw down all the mines, preload all the way up to 20, put down our curse, walk in, trigger the mines, and she's dead. Okay, she's dead. Wait a little bit just in case she threw out a spectral throw, and then just go back here. Realize you're never lucky. You're never going to drop a papyrus. Never lucky. Get a little bit mad about it, but then life goes on because actually you did a hitless run and you have an original sin, and you're not me because you had a hitless run. Sorry. Oh, anyways, that is my guide for how to run a Hitless Sanctum with the Icicle Miner. Hopefully, I broke it down for you easily. In this run, we didn't take a single hit. Even though we're not running the Relic, this was a no-hit run, and it's going to be the same thing. I made sure to, as well, in my run, to include 4 open slots. In my Relics, I have open Relics. I can go ahead and open a map just to show that. I don't know if I showcased it at the beginning or not. I might have forgotten to. So I can just run into an atoll real quick, and I can show you, just so you know. I'm not cheesing this run in any ways. This would be exactly how the run would go if it was a hitless run for the Relic, basically. So, just gonna, hopefully there's a thing right here at the beginning of this. Maybe. Never lucky. I'm gonna have to run an entire atoll, aren't I? Well, it could be at the very top here. Probably is where it is. Not at the top. Oh no, we actually got an unlucky atoll. Well, next spot I check is the corner, and if it's not there, life is really bad. We're running this entire atoll. All right, if it's not here, I think most likely it's going to be in to the right or bottom corner right. Which, if it is bottom corner right, man, this spawn is terrible. Okay, not terrible. It's a fine spawn, but it's very unusual for it to spawn here. It very unusually spawns here or in the other opposite corner. I always check those corners last because it's very few rooms that do that. So just to showcase my relics, right here we had 4 open slots. You would have the same power level as me if you had the original scripture in your run. Anyways, that's the video, and that's the guide for how to run a hitless Sanctum run with the Assassin Icicle Miner. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it helps, and take care, Exiles. Peace out, guys. Have a good night.